Okay. Hello, my name's David Fortune, and recently I just came back from Uganda. I was in Uganda for 6 weeks, from all of August and the beginning of September 2015. The reason why I went actually is I won a scholarship from Kingston University, so they gave me £1,900 to go, and I personally was really excited and really wanted to go to Uganda because I'm interested in economic development myself, and I believe that volunteering with IRFF could teach me and guide me in learning about development issues and how to go forward in such countries such as Uganda, where there is extreme poverty, people are struggling a lot, and there's a lot that needs to be done. So I arrived on the 3rd of August, and I experienced lots of different projects that IRFF carries out. So the first project that I went to was visiting Destiny Junior School, and this is a school that we sponsor, and there's around 90 to 100 children in this school, and I updated the profiles of all the school children because we're hoping to always improve the sponsorship of the school children there. And whilst updating the profiles of the school children, you could see that every child is facing a struggle in some way or another. So actually most, I would say around 80–90%, don't live with their parents. They live with an auntie or their grandparents. Many of them are living with HIV/AIDS. Some they're mentally disabled or also physically disabled, which adds even more to their struggle. And most often, actually, they don't receive so much food. Maybe they have 1 or 2 meals per day. So at Destiny, we actually feed them lunch. We give them lunch every lunchtime. We give them lunch. So when they receive lunch, they can actually really focus in school and get a proper education. And I was just watching a video yesterday by Jeff Sachs, who mentioned that exact point. He's a very famous person working in development in African countries, and he mentioned actually, by feeding lunch to school children, they can focus, and it has huge benefits later on in life. So it was very it really brought you down to earth. Really made me feel grateful to have an education myself. So in Destiny, it's a primary school, so we start from nursery and then all the way up to when they're around 10, and we're hoping to build a few more classrooms and also hopefully a clinic nearby, so we can bring them all the way up to around the ages of 12 and 14 before moving on to secondary school. The second project that I visited was the Jiggers Campaign, and this is at Kugulu Primary Academy in Iganga district. So this is east Uganda, and Jiggers is actually a very small parasite, very small. They live all in the dust, and out in the villages especially, very dusty. You've got lots of jiggers, and there's very poor hygiene and sanitation conditions there. So we drove out into far off villages to remove jiggers from people's feet, and I'm sure if you look on Google Images and type in jiggers, it's really terrible situation. People's feet are infected with jiggers, and so because of that, they can't walk properly, they can't look after themselves, so actually it affects, they can't get a job, and basically they're living in extreme poverty. So on top of that, removing all these jiggers, there's very poor sanitation in the houses that they live in. So quite often, people, they sleep with their chickens or their livestock right next to them in their beds for security reasons. So actually, there's lots of bed bugs, lots of lice, and for myself going into some of these houses, you can't imagine, how people can live in such a poor state. So we fumigated those houses, we cleaned the house up a little bit, and also we educated the local village and the local population in keeping very basic hygiene and sanitary conditions after removing the jiggers, so hopefully they wouldn't have to struggle with the problem in the future. So this is something that we work with the local headmaster in Kiguli Prime Academy, and also the local health, the government health organization, where they direct us and show us where to go to remove the jiggers. And it's actually been very helpful, and we've seen the results. There's been lots of villages now that we've visited that are free from jiggers, and actually the basic human condition has improved in those villages too. The third project was we have a partnership with a few other organizations in trying to empower the families, individuals in income generating activities. So we actually have a small community building where women from the local village can come to this community building, have meetings on sewing and mending dresses, making dresses and making clothes. So they can, and we've donated sewing machines to that, and with that they can then sell on those clothes, or charge a little amount for mending clothes to for people. So that's one way that they can generate some of their own income. So also the Kabuma Joint Family Association, we bought 50 chickens 3 years ago, and since that time we've hatched 9,000 chicks. And with those chicks, if you've seen the movie Pass It On, we've given those chicks out to families around in the local area, and they've grown up and they've also been able to lay eggs. So actually this project has expanded exponentially over the last 3 years, where we've taught people to take care of chickens, and that from the chickens that they receive, they could sell eggs, and then they could hatch more chicks. And with those chicks, they pass it on to another family. So actually it's like a snowball effect, a very positive snowball effect. And it was a very fascinating, interesting project to attend and understand, because also we've given some 5 hens and a cock to quite a few children in some schools around. And from just giving 5 hens and a cock, which is just the cost of maybe £10 each, they've been able to pay for their school fees, they've been able to pay for computer skills, and they've been also able to look after themselves. So these are children as young as 11, 12 years old who have to look after themselves. So this has been a very innovative project and a very successful one too, with very positive effects for their future. So the last project we worked on was the Wait and Girl Child project, and basically we work with 10 to 19-year-old teenagers in forming healthy relationships and trying to empower young people to live a life free from HIV/AIDS. So we've established in 40 schools across Uganda and 5 countries across Africa. And what we did in Uganda when I was there, we built a ceiling for someone's kitchen. We also built an outdoor shower for a very old grandfather. And we volunteer a lot of our time with also all the WAIT members in helping those in need. And on top of that, we run workshops and lectures on sanitation, hygiene, and it's not just talking. We dance, we play music, and have a very interactive time together. So actually it's very attractive project for the young people, and they can feel very involved, and yeah, they can feel very inspired in the end of the day. So actually, yeah, it was a really wonderful project for myself too, just to experience African dance, African music, and really exciting. So actually that was my trip altogether. I experienced a lot, and yeah, I highly suggest that you should go to Uganda sometime.